Hi, I'm Betsy Payne Cook. I'm a pastel painter and I work both in my studio and I work plein air. And plein air means that I take my pastels with me and I head outdoors to paint. Well, pastels for me kind of goes back in time to when I was younger and I really liked to draw. And at that time, it was people drew with chalk. When I was in college, pastel really was more of a medium, again, just for drawing. I used it on and off through, young adulthood. And when I moved to the Cape, I was in my early 40s, and I took a pastel class, and then I realized what that actually means to be able to paint with pastels, and it's just amazing. The application of it, the media, really lends itself to something that's flexible. You can use it with other mediums, you can use it on different types of surfaces. I like the ability to be able to actually hold the pastel sticks. Yes, they're dirty, but I just really like that immediacy of having the medium in my hands. Cornmeal keeps pastels clean. As the pastels move around in the cornmeal, the little gritty bits actually take off the outside dust layer, because pastels, if you can wipe them with paper towels, but then you're wiping off pastel, especially the super soft pastels. There's a lot of the same techniques that pastel painters use that oil and acrylic painters use, that overlaying of color, letting the pastels that are underneath show through. A pastel, it really depends on a surface that's got a really good tooth, and that tooth just grabs onto the pastel, which means you can get a good 10, 12 or more layers of pastel without really creating dust, because you get a lot of dust when the pastel can't stick to the surface. So if you have a nice gritty toothy surface, pastel sticks to it. It's really quite fun. When I paint on location, I do a lot of architecture. I do a lot of street scenes, buildings. I'm really looking for structures. But for me, I love that balance of nature and man-made objects. I like to incorporate the structures, whether they're a busy scene or whether they're a quiet section of the Cape. I do my underwater series, which is actually done in the studio. And it's more of a still life setup because I take a lot of photographs of looking down into shallow water, trying to catch the reflection of light, whether it's a glitter path or whether it's just the waves, soft waves that are catching the light, and the objects that are underneath. So it's a very clear image. And what I do is I use those photographs, and then I have shells that I put in water, and I use it like a still life. So it's a combination. It's more, interpretive as I go along. So what happens is I'm trying to create the areas that are sand and the areas that are in shadow from the seaweed, and then the final area after multiple areas will have a glitter path of light that is just tracking here where you're seeing all the bubbles. You're seeing what's sitting on the surface of the sand, but you're also catching those glimpses of light that are falling on there. It began really as like a metaphor of my life, and sometimes it's nice and calm, and sometimes there's a little upheaval. When you've gone through so many decades, you've got a lot of changes that happen in your life. So they're more personal feeling, the view below. For me, it's all about the values. The color is secondary. So if I'm painting a dark area, I want to make sure that I have the right range, whether it's a medium dark or a very dark, as opposed to looking for a specific color. Most people know me by my plein air. You know, I teach plein air workshops and classes. I've taken a group of artists to Great Britain to paint, and in the spring, I'm taking people to Italy to paint outdoors. So the plein air is you know, something that's really close to my art. I love being outside and painting. I have a series of paintings that are nocturnes, and you know, I capture the time of day, you know, that dusk, early evening, and of course it's always that dance of, you know, things disappearing into the darkness, the lights that are coming out. You know, I've incorporated street scenes, you know, the more subtle, just lights coming through buildings and windows, and also the traffic, you know, the lights, the car lights on the road, reflections in the water, wet pavement. They're a lot of fun. I enjoy that because it's a real shift. The majority of the pastels that you're using are dark with some pops of light, and I start on a dark surface to actually enhance that whole feel of nighttime. Kick up the warm greens in this building here and exaggerate that little bit of warm yellow. That was on the porch. Well, it's really like a, I don't know what color it is. It's warm.